On to my favourite Vinegar Syndrome release from July is Killer's Delight, a 1978 serial killer movie, otherwise known as The Sport Killer. Killer's Delight involves all about a detective, Vince DiCarlo, whom gets caught up in the hunt for a serial killer. Now, what I really liked about this one is it kind of feels as if it's based on almost Ted Bundy, as it starts to focus on this person who's brutally killing young women. And we get to see the pickup van, we get to see this killer picking up the victims and the ramifications of that. We never really see his face, just often that he's in disguises, and it seems to be very smart and able to pick up women quite easily. Now, when we're introduced to Vince, we get a man who is kind of tenacious, who bites into the whole idea of a serial killer and is wanting to hunt them down as much as he can. He is driven by the fact that all these murders seem to be connected by the one man. He's joining the dots where everybody else seems to be missing them, and slowly starts to hunt for this person who's doing the killing. But as he is aware and looking for the killer becomes aware of him and starts to taunt and tease him and focus on this character and aim to hurt him and his personal life. And although it's a movie that doesn't really show a lot of blood and guts, it has some real sequences. One in particular that was rather effective in the way it showed a murder scene. It was almost as if it was crime scene photographs, black and white, just looking at bodies abandoned, broken bones, blood, guts through that, rather than actually showing you the real visceral stuff in your face. It made it more real, it made it more effective in putting across the message to the viewer that these are horrible atrocities, rather than something to get your kicks off watching the gore and blood actually happen. And I liked that a lot about it. Now, we're also introduced to Dr. Carol Thompson, who's a psychologist who's starting to build a profile of the killer, and together these two people, Vince and Carol, are going to bring down this killer. And it's an effective little thriller. Now, it doesn't do anything spectacular, but it delivers on wonderful performances, great atmospheric set pieces, some tense moments where you're genuinely afraid for certain characters within the film, and gives you a finale that ticks all the boxes of things that you want, apart from the little blurb later on, because it alludes at the start that this is based on true events and true crimes, and that's how they've created a lot of this story. But this felt to me to be one of the most interesting Vinegar Syndrome releases for a little while that I really got locked into. I thought the performances were key. I loved the dynamic between Vince and the killer, and how that kind of power struggle often changed throughout the movie. The addition of Carol, the psychologist, was something that really brought a lot of oomph into the movie, particularly as she gets put on the line in a sequence which is really tense, and you feel that Carol is in some real danger there, and that something bad is most likely going to happen to her. Killer's Delight was it was a delight to watch. It was a movie that was absolutely engrossing, fun. I couldn't take my eyes off it. I loved Vince, I loved Carol. I even thought the bad guy was wonderfully portrayed, from the opening half of the movie where you see very little of him, to the constant disguises, to his chameleonic presence within the film later on as he teases and taunts our heroes. Great film. A little forgotten 70s slice of awesomeness. I'd love to know your thoughts on Killer's Delight, or The Sport Killer. Let me know in the comment box below, and I'll see you next time on Man v Film.